this whole ecosystem is broken partly because the financial model is out of whack with what we would suggest is democratic norms and an informed citizenry. And so there are two elements. There's because the internet has kind of driven news outlets to give away content for free, and the answer was scale. I think we've all recognized now that that isn't the answer at all. And so I think what we'll end up seeing is there is a market for high quality news, but there will be niche audiences, there will be smaller audiences, and I think we'll have a fragmented system where you have fewer big outlets and you'll have more of these kind of niche outlets which have a relationship with the audience is prepared to pay for quality content. I think the difficulty is trying to create content at scale when advertising causes all sorts of problems, even just for the experience. Online reading with ads is a horrible experience. So I think that's part of the problem, in that system was breaking and creaking already, and then the fake news debate has kind of shone this spotlight on how do we solve this when actually the commercial imperatives are not there. Because if you think about the platforms, they need us to stay on their platforms for as long as possible. And going back to that psychological piece, if I'm consuming content that makes me feel good, I'm going to stay on the platform longer. So it's not actually in their interest to give me hard news that will make me feel uncomfortable. It's in their interest to serve me what I want. So when the platforms are increasingly becoming the main distributor of information and news, yet it's not in their commercial interest to give us what we necessarily need. And as humans, we're driven to the stuff that we like. That's what worries me when we're trying to think about solutions. And of course, I come from Europe, where we have much stronger public broadcasters and public service outlets. I worry about the impact of money in this information ecosystem, and I don't know who's going to be the driver for change. So to talk about what First Draft is trying to do, we really believe that only via collaboration are we going to see solutions. So we have a network of over 100 global newsrooms, all of the social networks, academics, and the idea is that it's not in anyone's interest to have 500 journalists all debunking and all fact-checking the same information. It makes much more sense to have kind of a centralized process of that, to allow journalists to do more investigative journalism, more telling the stories, the simply chasing the facts around a particular piece, whether it's a Donald Trump tweet or it's a meme or it's a fake news site, isn't in anybody's interest. So we are working with partners to try and help facilitate the collaboration and the working together around this type of content, so journalists aren't wasting their time on that. From a business model perspective, we're a non-profit at the moment. We're looking for funding, so that's not sustainable either. But at the same time, we're trying to keep money out of it. Although for transparency purposes, at the moment we are funded by Google. That in itself can be deemed problematic because some people would argue they're part of the problem. So it is very messy, and there's no one easy solution.